the Edmonton Oilers, they took down the Dallas Stars in 5 games as well. I thought that if I'm going to be honest with you, Christian, I thought that this series was going to be the one to go the distance. I thought it was going to be a 7-gamer. Wrong. I'll say it.
I'm very wrong too. After the Stars beat the Avs, it was like that's my cup pick. Like I'm riding their coattails to the cup, and yep, it's not happening. So,
I mean,
do you want to start with a controversy? Like we went from the one controversy. I think maybe we start with the Stars controversy here.
Yeah. I mean, so Peter DeBoer, it's 7 minutes into Game 5. They're on the brink of elimination. Backs up against the wall. 2 goals go in on 2 shots on Jake Ottinger. Pete DeBoer looks like a deer in the headlights every time. Every time that guy, something bad happens to his team. I go back to that game against the Canucks where they blew. What was it? They blew a 3-goal lead with like a minute to go. Right in the regular season. Yeah. I don't know if you watched the replay, the highlights and stuff, like the replay of that game. As soon as that 3rd goal goes in, he has the exact same just blank face 10,000 yard stare into the opposite side of the arena. Into the abyss. Yeah, and he does that too often for my liking personally. But he calls a timeout, Pete DeBoer, and he tries to get his boys fired up because, frankly, they looked bad to start that game for the first, I'd say the whole first period. They looked really, really bad. They looked stuck in mud. And he also decides to spark his boys by pulling out their 4-nation face-off backup, Team USA backup goaltender.
Starter after beating Hellebuck.
It could be.
2, okay?
Still could be. Who knows? They pull their goalie. They pull Jake Ottinger, and Jake Ottinger has to sit on the Stars bench right beside Ray Ferraro and just watch as Razor just absolutely eviscerates his performance and his team's performance for the whole game for 50-plus minutes. And,
another detail.
If I was a fly on the wall, I would have killed to be in that Stars dressing room after the first.
If you were flying the wall, you would have died just by Jake Ottinger laying eyes on you. His piercing eyes would have combusted as that fly. Just the other detail I wanted to add is just the way that he pulled him with calling a timeout. Ottinger's on his way back to the net.
He calls him right back.
Call back that you're stopping right there halfway, brother. You're not reaching that crease. It's over for you. Like that's in his own words, it sucks. It was embarrassing. That's what Jake Ottinger had to say about that. And I'll pull up the DeBoer lines.
Here, I've got one for you.
Yeah.
So he says, "I didn't blame it all on Jake, but the reality is, if you go back to last year's playoffs, he's lost 6 of 7 to Edmonton, and we give up 2 goals on 2 shots in an elimination game. That's a pretty big sample size." And quote.
Not mincing words there. And as recently as yesterday, DeBoer says they haven't had a chance to talk yet, Mr. Ottinger and DeBoer. Honestly,
whose side do you think that's on? Like, who's the one to reach out?
I think first? I think 100% the onus is on DeBoer. Like that's no doubt about it. The onus is on him to reach out. If he does is another question. This does, I already referenced it once. This does take me back to the Babs trip to Arizona saga. That was after our second series loss to the Bruins. And Matthews had like 16 or 8, I think it was maybe 18 minutes of time on ice. And that was the thing. It was like, why is Freddie the GOAT out there in a
why is Patrick
spot or whatever? Yeah. So that was the conversation, and it basically prompted Babs to, after the season, and have to go to Arizona and have a one-on-one with his captain. The difference here is that was year 3 or 4 of the Leafs' Matthews era. I guess this is year 3 or 4 of the DeBoer era in Dallas, but this is now. I don't like. There's almost. I don't know if history is the right word, but they've seen this through to an extent with DeBoer. And at the same time, I'm telling myself, if they wanted to let him go, who the hell are you bringing in that really makes you feel better? I don't know. Am I wrong to think that way? Because
Well,
at the
of
same
who
time,
else
who
is
the hell
available?
thought Chris? Yeah, like Mitch Love is a name that I've liked since even when the Leafs had a coaching availability after Keefe. Just a new name that hasn't got a chance, but he's apparently in the running in Pittsburgh, and I think he's like
Boston.
that's a better. Yeah, like it's just a better spot for him to go to like a rebuilding or influx team than like the Stars. Like they need to win yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That's what they're looking to do. As much as they have
100%.
young players who will carry them into the future, they've also got aging veterans who they're going to lose to just age, right? Jamie Benn was on fourth lines in this series. Matt Duchene's deal is up. Tyler Seguin was injured this year. Like, and you got at least you got bonus value out of Duchene, and we'll see if they get it out of Ben, who's up this year, their captain. So like, yeah, the clock is ticking. I don't know. Do you think that this is a relationship that can be repaired between DeBoer or Otter, or do you lean on the side of them? Maybe
I'll be honest.
Ties?
I think they might have to, for as much as maybe they don't want to. Listen, I've never been the biggest Pete DeBoer fan. He does. If they got to Game 7, I'm putting my faith in Pete DeBoer. We know his Game 7 track record, but you have to get there to get to you have to get to Game 7, right? But they couldn't. They got thoroughly outmatched this year, and they also got thoroughly outmatched last year as well against the Oilers. And I have a real tough time thinking if they make it back to this point next season, and it's, say, the Oilers again, say it's another team, do they have the will? Like, do they have that next level to make the jump? I'm not. I don't know if I'm that convinced on it. I feel like this might be the end of the road for somebody, and it's probably not Jake Ottinger.
No.
Like you said, though, the market right now, like the available, the UFA head coach market is very, very slim pickings. I don't know if you also saw like who was interviewing for the Bruins, but it was, like you said, Mitch Love. There's Marco Sturm, and like Jay Woodcroft's there. And guess who's leading the pack? Joe Sacco, the guy who.
I think there was talk of Marco Sturm as well. Like someone preemptively said he was going to be named head coach.
Yeah,
and then,
I heard that too.
Right?
It's just like
so. No, listen, that does not inspire hope. But so here I'm gonna give you the flip. I am in that camp where I agree. I don't like the UFA stuff. I mean, I like the coach availability. I am of the opinion that you stick with DeBoer, but I'll play devil's advocate to myself. Who are they up against? They're up against the Edmonton Oilers. Who the hell was Chris Knobloch to anyone before last year?
Yeah, that is very true.
Right, and so if there's a GM to trust to make decisions, like
it's Jim Nill.
Jim Nill's made some really good ones.
The only thing I'll say though to the Knobloch point was that I think because of his prior relationship to Connor, it gave a lot of people, for as unknown of a as unknown of a figure that he was, at the very least you can be like, well, he'll. Because of the built-in relationship with Connor, you have some sort of thing. But who does any of those guys really have a prior relationship to? And none of them are as good as Connor. So if you can't get, like, they obviously Knobloch got like Connor to lock in, to give all in, and it kind of trickled down throughout the team. Who is the next guy gonna get to really lock in and get the rest of the guys to also, who've now been here under, some of them like under Rick Boness, like Sagan, Ben, I guess Hintz was there too, right? The second generation of the
A lot of
Stars.
these guys go back to when Jim Montgomery was with the Stars, right? Like,
Jim
that's
Montgomery
kinda
was
when
there
it started.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I still feel better about the Stars' future than the Hurricanes. Not by much. Like, I think they're both teams that are going to be set up to do a lot in the future. And the Canes, like I said, they have 28 million in cap space. Have to use it wisely this year, just because not a lot of great free agents. But I mean, on the flip side, Stars have 5 million in cap space right now, and they have here's some names signed. Yeah, Jamie Benn, Matt Duchene, Mikael Granlund, who Granlund they trade for, and he's a rental, but he was really good for them in that Finnish mafia line that they used sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they try to keep him. It is going to be tough. They put all their chips in when they traded for Mikko Rantanen. Their cap situation would have looked a lot better without Mikko Rantanen, but then obviously you don't have Mikko Rantanen, who's pretty good. Like, it's the type of risk you take. Like, I'm not going to discount that. Even if he did go quiet in this series, the chances I think were still there. And I think when you lose in 5 games, you can't really get on anyone for being bad. Like, everyone, like, it was a full team.
Everybody
failure,
was bad,
right? So you can't single out a guy. And I know a lot of people are singling out Wyatt Johnston too for having a playoff worst plus minus.
I think one point of the lineup that they definitely need to look at reevaluating is they have close to $10 million tied up between Matt Dumba, Ilya Lyubushkin, and Cody Ceci. Actually, it's over $11 million tied up to those 3 players and Cody Ceci. I'll say Cody Ceci got into every game and didn't look. I would say he at least treaded water. He wasn't really sinking, but Ilya
he survived, but he didn't thrive.
Yeah, which, listen, compared to Lyubushkin and Matt Dumba, who couldn't even get into the lineup ahead of guys like Liam Bichel, who I thought had a coming out party, and Alexander Petrovic looked. Yeah, Alexander Petrovic looked at least competent, I would say.
Yeah. Are you suggesting to me, Dave, that the Dallas Stars could use a right-handed defenseman on a really cheap deal
from Ontario?
I'm not going to say from Ontario. I was going to say someone they played against in the series that might have played for them before. I'm rubbing salt in the wound here, but it is sweet vengeance for John Klingberg of all guys.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they could use a guy who played for them.
Hey, everybody could use
greasy with nice long black greasy hair, and is also a bit of a puck magnet on the ice. Chris Tanev. They could have used Chris Tanev in this series.
Every team Chris Tanev. Every team in the world. Yeah.
But guess what? Yeah. They had him. Like, that's the difference, is that they had him.
Yeah, and they also had. Like. And then his money gets spent on Matt frickin' Dumba. Yeah, like, no, I talked about Jim Nill, like, makes awesome decisions everywhere but on right defense. Yeah, that is it.
Well, that's the one thing that we kind of pointed to at the beginning of the playoffs, where like they could if they thrive, it's not going to be as a result of their right side, right? Like, they're just going to have to kind of manage that. They were going into the playoffs knowing that. And look at where they are. So, listen, I think if something's going to have to change, it's going to need to start, or at least that's going to have to factor in. Like, that's way too much money for that right side for the production that they kind of got out of them. Other than that. Yeah,
they've just made the same mistake so many times. Like, even before this, it was Ryan Suter. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Ryan Suter honestly looked pretty good in St. Louis. Like, he looked okay.
Yeah.
But you look okay
in Dallas. Looked awful. Right? It looked awful in Dallas, and it's like you said, though. It is crazy that they had not only a solution, but literally like one of the best solutions in the entire league. He's no longer a star,